The New York Metropolitan Museum of Art at 2 a.m. was usually quiet as a tomb, which was ironic considering how many actual tombs were in the basement. Wade Wilson, currently dangling upside down from a grappling hook wrapped around a gargoyle 20 feet above the marble floor, was bored. "Okay, let's review the mission parameters," Deadpool whispered to the empty air, addressing his unseen audience. "Client wants an ancient Norse wooden mask, allegedly belongs to Loki, god of mischief. Client is paying me in a sack of untraceable Krugerrands and a lifetime supply of lukewarm Hot Pockets. Don't judge me, the jalapeno ones are transcendent when you're high on painkillers." He began to lower himself toward a glass pedestal in the center of the Viking exhibit. "The security here is laughable. I've had harder times breaking into a sealed bag of formidable scent cat treats. Laser grids? Please, I just did a sexy interpretive dance through them. I'm more graceful than a gazelle on a slip and slide. If that one acrobatic wall crawler from Queens saw me right now, he'd probably retire out of pure, unadulterated professional jealousy." Wade landed silently on his toes right next to the pedestal. The mask inside was ugly. Greenish wood, big nose, creepy metal strip up the nose bridge. "Hello, gorgeous. You're coming home with Papa Pool." Wade pulled out a glass cutter. He was about to make the first scratch when he heard a squeak of sneakers on marble. Standing at the other end of the exhibit was a man. He looked like a banker who had just been audited and then rained on. He was soaking wet, holding a pathetic umbrella and shivering. His name was Stanley Ip-Kins. Excuse me?" Stanley stammered, squinting at the red and black nightmare in front of him. Are you robbing the museum?" Wade froze. He slowly turned his head. "No, I'm the night watchman. I'm just testing the structural integrity of this glass case with a diamond-tipped circle thingy. What are you doing here, soggy bottoms? It's past your bedtime."
I got lost on the way to the bathroom," Stanley lied poorly. He'd actually broken in because he felt a strange psychic pull toward the mask in the case. "Buddy, the bathroom is in the lobby. You're deep in the 'we pilled and burned your village' section of history. Now scram before I get uncharacteristically violent." Wade revved the glass cutter aggressively. Stanley panicked. He didn't want trouble. He just wanted the green thing. In a burst of adrenaline-fueled stupidity, Stanley grabbed a nearby Viking battle axe off the wall and swung it wildly at the glass case. Crash! "Hey, that's destruction of private property. Only I get to do that," Wade yelled. Stanley grabbed the wooden mask from the shattered glass. He didn't know why, but he felt like he had to put it on. Right now. "Don't you do it," Wade warned, drawing a Desert Eagle. "That thing is tacky. It's wood. It's going to give you splinters in your T-zone. Trust me, I wear a mask for a living. The chafing is real." Stanley ignored him. He shoved the mask onto his face. It didn't just sit there, it latched on. It turned into green, rubbery flesh and sucked onto his skull. Stanley started to scream, but the scream turned into a localized tornado of green and purple energy. The whirlwind tore through the exhibit, smashing ancient pottery and sending Wade tumbling backward over a display of mead horns. The tornado stopped instantly. Standing where the soggy banker used to be was a living cartoon. He wore a bright yellow zoot suit with a polka dot tie that defied gravity. His face was a bright green, toothy prosthetic with eyes that bulged out of his skull like grapefruits. The green man took a deep breath, spun on his heel, and struck a pose. "Smokin'!" the mask roared, his voice echoing as if you were speaking into a stadium microphone.
Wade picked himself up, dusting off ancient dust. "Okay, first of all, that catchphrase is so aggressively retro, it practically emits a dial-up modem sound. You look like a radioactive highlighter that got into a fight with a banana-flavored milkshake. Second, yellow after Labor Day? Bold choice, Kermit." The mask zipped over to Wade, moving at a blur, leaning in so close their noses almost touched. His breath smelled like bubblegum and nitroglycerin. "Well, hello there, Little Red Riding Hood," The mask leered, his eyes literally popping out of his head on springs, bouncing off Deadpool's mask with a boing oing 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 sound. My, what big guns you have! Are you here for the audition? We're casting for a sidekick. Must have own cape and willingness to be flattened by falling pianos. I don't do sidekick work. I'm the main event, baby. Also, personal space? Ever heard of it? Wade shoved the green face away. Wade raised his Desert Eagle and fired point blank at the green guy's forehead. Bang! The mask's head snapped back. He froze for a second. Then he slowly leaned forward. There was a perfectly round bullet hole between his eyes. The mask inhaled sharply, then blew out his nose. The bullet shot out of his left nostril, bounced off a suit of armor, hit the ceiling, ricocheted off 3 walls, and landed perfectly in Wade's open utility pouch. "Missed me by that much," the mask giggled, holding his thumb and index finger a millimeter apart. Then he reached behind his back into hammer space and pulled out a Tommy gun that was roughly the size of a Buick. "Now, let's rock this joint." He opened fire. The gun didn't shoot bullets, it shot a rapid-fire stream of rubber chickens, confetti, and lit sticks of dynamite. "Oh, come on, who writes this stuff?" Wade yelled, diving behind a stone sarcophagus. Explosions rocked the room, covering everything in soot and feathers. Wade popped up, dual katanas drawn. "Okay, Toontown, let's slice and dice." He charged. Wade Wilson is one of the finest hand-to-hand combatants in the Marvel Universe. His blades moved faster than the eye could see. He sliced the mask into ribbons. The green zoot suit fell to the floor in tatters. Wade stood triumphantly over the pile of fabric. "And that's a wrap. Don't forget to tip your waitress." Now where did that wooden mask go? The pile of fabric began to rumble. A giant white-gloved hand emerged from the center. Then another. The hands grabbed the edges of the fabric pile and pulled, stretching the reality of the scene like digital putty. The mask popped back up, completely unharmed, now wearing a sparkling matador outfit. "Toro! Toro!" the mask yelled, waving a red cape at Deadpool. "You have got to be kidding me," groaned Wade. "I cut your head off. I saw it roll under a bench." "'Tis but a scratch," the mask declared in a terrible British accent. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a giant, steaming cartoon mallet. It had ACME Heavy Industries stamped on the side. Wade looked at the camera. "Guys, I think I'm in the wrong genre. If a coyote shows up with a rocket strapped to his back, I'm leaving." The mask swung the hammer. It connected with Wade's skull with a sound like a dodgeball hitting a melon, amplified by a megaphone. Ka-thwack! Deadpool was flattened into a 2-dimensional red and black pancake on the museum floor. His eyes blinked on the flat surface. The mask leaned over him, his tongue unrolling like a red carpet until it hit the floor. "Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Someone call a chiropractor or a steamroller." Slowly, with sickening crunches and pops, Wade's healing factor kicked in. He reinflated, his bones snapping back into place. He stood up, cracking his neck. "Okay," Wade mumbled, shaking his head to clear the literal birds circling it. "That was unpleasant. Tasted like iron and old varnish. You know, I could do this all night, Greenie. I regenerate. It's my thing, like Wolverine, but with less moody and with better buns." "Regenerate? Boring." The mask vibrated with manic energy. He zipped around Deadpool so fast he created a vacuum, changing outfits 5 times in 3 seconds. Elvis, an astronaut, a mime, a giant banana. "We need pizzazz! We need spectacle! We need a musical number!" The museum lights suddenly shifted to spotlights. An unseen orchestra began playing a high-energy mambo beat. The mask, now back in the yellow zoot suit, grabbed Wade's hands and started aggressively salsa dancing with him. "They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat," the mask belted out, spinning Wade so fast the mercenary's feet left the floor. "I do not consent to this choreography," Wade yelled, trying to pull his guns while being dipped dramatically. "My hips lie. They lie a lot."
When I play the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. The mask shook two maracas that appeared out of nowhere right next to Wade's ears. Enough. Wade finally managed to break free. He pulled a grenade, pulled the pin with his teeth, and jammed it down the front of the mask's trousers. Fire in the hole, literally. The mask stopped dancing. He looked down at his crotch, his eyes bulging. He reached down into his pants and rummaged around for an uncomfortable amount of time. "Excuse me while I whip this out," the mask winked at the audience. He pulled out the grenade. It was now tiny, the size of a marble. He popped it into his mouth, swallowed it, and hiccuped. A small puff of smoke came out of his ears. Spicy meatball. Wade stared. He dropped his swords. He sat down on a priceless Egyptian bench. "I give up," Deadpool sighed. "I can't kill you. You can't kill me. We're just going to keep destroying national treasures until the sun comes up. You're operating on Looney Tunes logic, and I'm operating on a rated-R budget. It's an impasse." The mask zipped over and sat next to him, throwing a green arm around Wade's shoulder. "Aw, don't be sad, little tomato. Turn that frown upside down." He grabbed Wade's face and physically twisted his mask into a smile. "Get off me!" Wade swatted him away, but without real heat. "You know, you're pretty good. Annoying. Incredibly, mind-numbingly annoying, but good. You got style, kid. And you, Mr. Poole, have wonderful resilience, like a cockroach in a nuclear fallout shelter. Very chic." The mask pulled out a giant Cuban cigar, lit it with a flamethrower, and took a puff. The sun began to peek through the high windows of the museum. "Uh-oh," the mask looked nervously at the light. "Looks like the party's over. Gotta turn back into a pumpkin, or in my case, a boring banker with intimacy issues." "Wait, the green thing is solar-powered?" asked Wade. "Something like that. Gotta fly. It's been surreal." The mask grabbed the sides of his face and pulled. With a sound like Velcro ripping off a hairy chest, the green rubber detached. The tornado spun again briefly and then dissipated. Stanley Ip-Kins stood there, gasping for air, wearing his soaked suit again, clutching the wooden mask. He looked around at the absolute devastation of the museum exhibit. Millions of dollars in damages, feathers, confetti, and scorch marks everywhere. "Oh God," Stanley whispered. "Did I do all this?" Wade stood up and clapped a hand on Stanley's shoulder. "Technically, yes, but legally, I think we can blame it on a gas leak. Or a rogue flash mob of very aggressive mimes, whichever sells better in the papers." Wade gently pried the wooden mask from Stanley's shaking hands. "I'll be taking this. Daddy's got bills to pay. You should probably run. The cops are definitely on their way, and you look like you just survived a washing machine cycle set to murder." Stanley didn't need to be told twice. He bolted for the exit. Wade watched him go, then looked down at the ugly wooden mask in his hands. "Well," Wade addressed the camera one last time, sliding the mask into his duffel bag. "That was weird, even for me. I feel like I just hallucinated an entire 90s CGI blockbuster. Hope you guys enjoyed the special effects. We blew the entire season's budget on that Tommy gun scene. Next episode is just going to be me sitting in a chair reading haikus. Cue the mariachi music."